Hello.
What is that choker?
It's a choker. it's it's sort of like a chevron, like sexiness this way, you know?
And then you keep following it and you're like, oh shit.
And you're like, she's not over there. What are we talking about? It's kind of like a scrolling marquee. I don't know. I
I love it.
I love those chokers that just have your name on it. Those are
Mm-hmm,
fun.
mm-hmm. All right, girl. Cheers to our first deep dish of the year.
Deep dish 2023. Cheers, queers.
Cheers to you.
Hmm. All right.
Oh, that's brisk.
I'm I'm feeling it. I love those Grey Goose glasses you have. Those are so stylish.
And here's my secret. Hold on. I should have planned this. Here's my secret.
Oh,
It's Kettle One.
Kettle One. No, we don't have a brand deal with Kettle One, but if Kettle, if you're listening and you would like to sponsor us,
Kettle, can you hear me? All right, so
we're available.
the honestly, Greg, this gives me a hangover, like a really bad hangover now.
Oh,
I don't know what they do to
this
those
is-
French potatoes, but I can't do it.
This is definitely not a commercial for Kettle One, then. Honestly, red wine used to be the only thing that gave me headaches, and now pretty much everything does. And honey, that's
Right.
aging.
Ooh, I love your lip. So tell me about this look tonight. Is it an ode to me because you're in black? I feel like.
Well, I mean, when you're Brooke Hardis, you can take on black as your brand, and then anytime black is sort of invoked, then you're like bringing out Brooke Hardis. So yeah, I think so.
I love that.
Oh, thanks, Gwen. The lovely Gwen is watching us tonight, and Gwen says we both
Hi,
look so
Gwen.
gorgeous this evening. Thank you, Gwen.
Okay.
This is. I thought I'd just put on a little LBD for you kids at home. I love an LBD. It's got some nice sensible sleeves on it, but I feel like this is both one of the sexiest dresses that I have, but it's also one of the more modest for me, you know?
Well, have a stand, girl. Don't leave us hanging. Have a stand.
Queen Anne neckline. So it's got a nice...
Oh.
Yeah, it's very slinky. It's got like a... Can you see this cross seam on here?
I love that.
Yeah, very sensible construction. A classic construction that sort of brings the boobs a little bit forward. So
Yeah.
especially you can see it from the side. Like they feature. They feature a little bit more.
I feel like it's very 50s.
It is. It's a wiggle dress. It's like a fun
Okay.
a wiggle dress or a sheath dress, depending on which term you prefer. And it has
Okay.
some, I forget what these are called, but it has some slanted pockets in the front, so you can keep your phone
Okay.
with you.
That's nice.
Yeah, pocket bags are pretty deep. And then it has a split that only goes up to the knee. And I thought about bringing it up higher, because you know me, girl. I like a split that goes higher. But I tend to wear this when I want to look actually professional.
Yeah, I really like it. Are you wearing tights? Is that I can't
Yeah,
see how long it is.
I'm wearing leggings, so like it's not because.
Oh, okay. Okay, because I couldn't tell how long it is.
But the split.
So
the
does it
split
end
goes,
at mid-calf?
Yeah, the split goes here, and it's a mid calf length, so it's a nice sort of midi situation.
I love that.
Yeah.
She's daytime, she's nighttime.
And you're one.
She's whatever you need her to be.
Yeah, and you're one off-the-shoulder boa moment away from being like 90s glamour shot at the mall.
Oh,
Yeah.
dream goals.
Dreams.
Love it. Oh my God, I love that look.
Thank you.
That is fabulous. You do. I really like the lip tonight as well.
Thank you. This is
Also-
from the Sailor Moon ColourPop collab. Mm-hmm. And girl, it has like actual art from the original 90s cartoon on it, and I just said yes. I got the whole
Like, I love this. I'll take two.
Yeah, ColourPop's really affordable. It was like you could get a whole set for pennies on the dollar.
Woo! Also, comment in the chat if you know what LBD is, and I don't mean little black dress. There is another meaning for that in the queer community.
Uh-oh. Oh, wait, I know what it is. I had to think about it.
What is it?
Lesbian bed death.
Fuck yeah, it is.
Girl, you
So
were
I
ready to
was in,
snatch
law
my gay
school.
card right away.
I was in law school and this girl was like, "Oh my God, I'm gonna wear an LBD." And I was like, "I don't think I would do that." And then we had this whole thing and she's like, "Oh my God, I didn't know lesbian bed death." And I was like, "I didn't know little black dress." It was amazing.
I mean, your terms and your conditions. Your terms and your conditions are a little different when you're coming up in the queer community. You know what I mean? Speaking of which, not to immediately veer into the lane of the topic for the evening, but girl,
yeah, you're already getting on topic and we have a deep dish. Amazing. No notes.
Right.
No notes.
Normally we would just meander for another 20 minutes. So you're welcome. You're welcome, viewers. They're like, get on with it. Are we going to talk about bad behavior or what? So we're talking about bad behavior, and girl, I mean, talk about things being a little different when you are queer. What does bad behavior even mean?
Well, this is about bad breakups.
How could it be wrong if it feels so right?
I feel like, you know, when it comes to bad behavior in relationships, I do feel like queer folks have a different standard.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's better or worse, but I know it's different.
But it's certainly different. Mm-hmm. Bad behavior, and we're not just talking about Eileen Rogers in the production of Anything Goes. It's getting late and... No, we're all alone. No chaperone can get our number. The world's in slumber. Let's misbehave. You know, I played Lord Evelyn in Anything Goes.
Of course you did.
Yeah.
Of course you did.
Nerdy,
Girl.
English, and virginal.
Yeah.
Just terrible.
Three words I would, well, two of the three words I just wouldn't use at all for you now.
What's...
So kind of nerdy.
Oh, I was going to say, what's the second one? English.
Oh, girl. Okay, so bad behavior on breakup, girl. You know I got some doozies. Here's the thing. I will say women...
You? No. Just kidding.
Cis women can... Well, or, I mean, women. But I only have experience dating cis women, so I don't want to throw trans women under the bus.
God, Brooke, believe women.
Believe all women. Women, and I include trans women and all people who identify as women, we're fucking ruthless in a breakup. We are ruthless in a breakup. And I don't think ask Teddy.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't even know what I'm looking for. I'm looking for plausible deniability and I can't find it.
Well, it's with the teddy bear on the bed. I didn't want to put you in that category if that's not how you identify, but I will say I'm pretty ruthless.
Well, you know, I've done some things that when I reflect on it now, maybe I'm not so proud of. But, you know, my bad behavior is not so much in, like, retribution. My bad behavior is, like, making unsafe choices for myself. Particularly, like, the me from 10 years ago. Like, not things I would do so much anymore. But sometimes when I get to a kind of turning point in the evening or like an impasse, I have to ask myself, how did I get here? And it's like, yeah, I did this.
Yeah.
I'm talking about things that
Who done it,
exactly. You in the billiard room with the candlestick, you know?
Which, for the record, I feel like the candlestick was just really not the weapon of choice in that house.
Have you ever seen a bronze candlestick with sharp corners?
I guess.
It'll fuck you up. Girl. They're heavy.
First of all, of course you have. You probably have like 8 sconces.
Have you ever seen a crystal decanter that weighs 25 pounds? Oh my god.
Oh my god.
This is not
anyways,
no,
I love
but you get the point.
So I have like some pretty good breakup bad behavior stories. We're gonna save the ultimate one, which is the reason for this episode, till the end, because we love it. We love to keep you in suspense, so we're not gonna go right there. Yeah. But let's start with an easy one. How many weapons have been pulled on you in a breakup?
Oh my god, girl. Well, thankfully, I have to say that no weapons have actually been pulled on me in the course of a breakup, so
all right.
I'm feeling pretty fortunate right now. What's your...
As you should.
And you? How many weapons have been pulled on you?
Oh man. So one of our biggest fans on the show, who watches frequently, he was there for it. But there was a knife, there was a kitchen knife, and there was a moment. But let me tell you what happened.
Oh my gosh.
Not me. I didn't know.
I didn't think it was you.
Thank God. Because I wouldn't tell this story. But here's the thing.
So
I also
unsanitary.
like, I did obviously like it was not a good breakup. We both made mistakes. Blah 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 blah. I will say we both cheated on each other, and I caught her. So I caught her with the woman she was sleeping with or fooling around with, the woman's clothes in my car. So she was sleeping with another woman. The clothes were in my car. Because like we use each other's cars and stuff.
Yeah.
So I get in my car and I'm like, oh my God, maybe it was her car. I don't remember. Anyways, but I was like, oh my God, whose are those? Like, those aren't your size. Like, very clearly, very big size difference, right? And she's like, no, they're yours. They must be yours because they're not mine. Like, oh my God, whatever. And she had like hobbies where like maybe like athletic stuff where like other people's clothes could have ended up in the car, but not in this particular place, right? No. So she was like, whatever.
I'm not a mathematician, okay? I'm not a scientist, but if they're not your clothes and they're not her clothes, then
right.
Yeah.
And they weren't like athletic clothes, for the record. Right. So me being my Scorpio crazy ass, and you can all get in the chat if you think this was inappropriate. I said, oh, they are mine. And I just started wearing them around her.
Oh my God. I love that. I fully endorse that. I'm actually. You're like, okay, I'm going to call your bluff on this. Like.
Exactly. It was that I'm going to call your bluff. That's all it was. It wasn't like, you know what I mean?
I do know what you mean, and I love that. I actually love that strategy. Like, just smoke out the treachery. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
We're going to hotbox this relationship until it can't stand it anymore.
Yeah. I loved it. I was like, no, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Oh, wow.
She's also the one whose mom, like, Facebook messaged me and called me a whore a bunch, and I was like, I didn't even know you had Facebook, Diane. Good for you.
I didn't even know you knew how to turn on your Dell HP workstation, Diane.
Love it. God.
So bad behavior. Bad behavior for me. So let me tell you about the one time I went on Craigslist to meet somebody. Okay? Yes, ma'am. The year was 2009, I want to say.
Picture it. 2009.
2009.
Sicily.
I just turned all
Barry Sophia from Golden Girls.
Yeah. It was Sex in the City starring me. But no, I just turned, I think, 19.
With no sex and not in the city.
Yeah. Yeah. It was actually the opposite of that, but we try to
foreplay in the suburbs.
We try to let our audience find us, you know what I'm saying?
It's true.
So I just turned 19 and I went on the internet. I fired up Netscape Explorer and I went.
You did ask Jeeves.
I did ask Jeeves, and he said, Where are your parents? Are you okay? You know what I mean?
Are you okay?
Jeeves was like, how are you getting home? Do you remember the Craigslist personals, girl? Like, nothing good came out of that.
No.
But you find one that seems okay, at least without, you sort of peek through your fingers and you're like, that one's probably fine.
Yes.
And so I met this guy who was a little bit older, a little bit more experienced, mature. I know.
Kelsey! Miss Eileen!
I know, a shock.
Wait, was it Jeeves from Ask Jeeves? Because I feel like he might be your type.
It turned out he was a search engine, and then it was all over from there. No, he was a manager of a construction company, and he had this very smooth Southern accent, and he lived in an apartment high-rise with like a shared pool. So, like, I went over to his apartment, and at first I noticed he had no decorations anywhere. So that's already, like, a really bad sign, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he had the one of the few decorations he had was a little statuette of a cat with a range of years on it, like birth and death years, and the name that was engraved onto the base of the little statue was Cat.
What?
Like, he didn't even name his pet cat. He just called it Cat. So, of course, I had to ask about the cat statuette. But, like, every decision at this point feels dangerous. But I'm like, let's just lean in. We're here, right?
Right. And you're so young. You're like, I'm invincible, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, in retrospect, that is what I was doing. I didn't feel that way at the time, I'm pretty sure. Now, you know, this is a long, long time ago, so, you know, I barely even remember the details of this now. But, he was like, oh yeah, you know, I adopted a stray and I didn't want to come up with a name, so I just called it Cat. Alright, sure. So
weird.
Sure. So then he told me to get a pool, so I packed a swimsuit, but, like, my naive ass, I'm like, oh, we're gonna, like, swim together and it's gonna be fun at the pool. Girl, I went swimming, and he watched. So bad. So bad. So bad.
Oh my God.
So bad. Okay, then we went back up to his apartment, and I was like, oh, let me drive or whatever. And he gave me, like, a Smirnoff Ice, and he asked me if it tasted funny. So now we're at threat level orange, if not red. You know what red.
I was like, why are we
not? No, I take it back. We're at red, right? Because
also, by the way, on Covered Dish, we use the George W. Bush's terrorist threat level.
We sure do. Scheme. We sure do.
So it's a rainbow, and it goes blue, green. I think it's a full rainbow without yellow, and then orange, and then red. So yes. The most, yes.
Yes. You Gen Z may not remember, but we MILFs like to
never forget.
Never forget.
I'm gonna find it.
United we stand.
Oh my God, it was so good. It was one of the worst. You know, it's like, he had no good graphic designers, no good gay graphic designers working for him. Do you know what I mean?
I do, yeah.
Oh, no. It did have yellow. But the blue and the green were reversed.
Oh, wait. Hold that. Keep that on there for a second. Okay, yeah. Yeah. Severe, high, I can't read yellow, guarded, and low.
Elevated.
Okay, so we are now at severe. I just want to let you know at home. If anyone asks you that a drink they've just offered you tastes funny, get out.
After that experience, also.
Yeah.
Like, after all of that. So
I said, what did you do to my drink?
Should it?
Yeah, should it? Exactly. Thankfully, nothing bad happened after that point. But that's when, like, a couple steps before that is when I should have said, like, call an Uber, we're going home, you know?
Before Uber existed.
It was before Uber.
Yeah. And then I'm going to go home. Girl, you shuck out the cobwebs. Shuck out.
Well, I don't like to tell the story, and you know why? Because there's a sort of this implicit shame with putting yourself in unsafe situations because we blame the victim. So, like,
yeah.
Just to be real for a second, like, part of the reason that I don't talk about this story very much is just because it's like, I feel like there was something wrong with me and my poor judgment for doing that. But
of course. We were just talking about it. Women are constantly blamed for, like, being vulnerable and not catching, like, red flags that don't exist because they're purposely hidden from us. Yeah. Okay.
But to be clear, in this case, there were plenty of red flags. So, I told him a different name than my actual name, and I thought that was like, full armor. Like, there's nothing he could do to me because he doesn't know my name. Girl. So sweet, so innocent.
I have a shame-filled first date story full of bad behavior, and I am ashamed because I'll tell you. So my dad was really supportive of me coming out, and in between, like, opera contracts, I would go home to Buffalo, and he set me up with this woman who was friends with someone on the roller derby team he coached. Yikes.
Oh, wow.
So I'm like 19. He sets me up with this woman in her early 20s who's living in a sober house because she is in recent recovery from hard drugs. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
We meet at a hot dog stand. We go on a walk on the Niagara River in Niagara Falls, New York.
Not
Niagara Falls, Canada. The trashy side, Niagara Falls, New York.
Oh, the bad side, for sure.
Yes. And we go back to her house, and all of the guys who are twice her age living in this sober house with her are like all in different phases of recent like withdrawal. Okay.
Not recovery.
And if you know anything about addiction, they're
not in any stage of recovery. They're in a stage of
no, it's a struggle house.
Yeah.
And like I don't even know anything about addiction, but like one of the replacements for a lot of folks, for a lot of addicts when they're trying to kick things is sugar. So I walk in and there's like 4 dudes in their 50s watching that Tarantino vampire movie on the couch, eating pints of Edie's ice cream. Just like pints of it. And I'm like, what am I walking into?
Yeah.
So we watch the end of the movie. What is it fucking called? Do you know what I'm talking about? With Danny Trejo. Oh my God.
Quentin Tarantino did a movie about vampires?
And Selma Hayek is in it. But it's like old. Hold on, we gotta figure it out.
Oh, From Dusk Till Dawn, 96?
Yes, From Dusk Till Dawn.
Okay. All right.
And I can barely handle, at this point in my life, Fox and the Hound. Like, I just don't.
You're like, we're not watching Watership Down. We're watching Bambi. That's about as much as we can take.
Bambi's too much.
Bambi's too much.
So, I sit there and, like, I'm scared shitless. And I'm like, is someone gonna get me some ice cream? She doesn't get me any fucking ice cream. She has, like, 4 Red Bulls. And then wants to take me on a tour of her room. Eileen, she collects 2 things. And 2 things only. And those 2 things are knives and Precious Moments figurines.
Wow. That's a juxtaposition right there.
Elaborate shelving for both. But that's it.
Wow. So, like, not a lot of clutter, but just lit display cabinets of knives and Precious Moments figurines. Wow.
She walked me in my car, we made out, and then she dumped me via text that night. I was devastated.
Was there any reasoning? Like, why?
I mean, probably because I wasn't into her precious moment.
Well, yeah. She didn't give you the reaction that she was looking for.
You
were like, oh.
But I was like devastated. I was like, what's wrong with me? Blah, blah, blah.
I was expecting you to be like, and we dated for 3 years. You know what I mean?
Girl, you know.
Oh, shots fired on the dish.
A stray bullet at the end. I thought I was safe.
Girl, it's okay. It's totally okay because that guy that I was seeing, I saw him for like a year and a half.
No, you did not.
I did. I saw him for like a year and a half. And then I didn't break up with him until he came to oh girl, this is so embarrassing. The first place that I moved into off campus. Cuz I lived in a residence hall when I was seeing this person. Yeah. So, the first house I got with a couple roommates in Old North, I invited him to the housewarming party, and he brought, like, a bottle of something, and he had this Hawaiian shirt on that was, like, buttoned down to here, like, unbuttoned down to here. And I just, you know, normally that would be the reaction, but just, I had seen too much. I knew too much. And I chose that evening to break up with him, and I told him what my real name was at the time. And it was very awkward. Cuz like he was already there. At the party? No, he left. It was actually, you know, his reaction was kind of sweet. He was more understanding than I was expecting, but he was just kind of like, why invite me here if you were just going to do that? And I was like, I didn't really know until just this moment, but it just, you know, it's not working out.
Right. You didn't go in.
Yeah. And I wasn't expecting a long thing with this person anyway. There was actually a really sweet moment. Speaking of discovering something in someone's room, I that's buried the lead on that one. I told him that I was questioning my gender and that I wanted to go out dressed as a woman just to try it out, you know? So I borrowed some clothes from someone down the hall from me in the residence hall, like borrowed some of her clothes, and it's It's 2009, girl. So it's like a low-waisted jeans with a button, with like a white button-down shirt with a pinstripe vest over top of it and like a cherry button. It was the most 2009 thing you can imagine.
I love that, like, all of us dressed like sexy child mobsters. Like, so much pinstripe.
Yes, yeah, like 3-piece suits, but take most of it off, you know?
Like tiny vests. Like, just so very tiny.
The white button-down cotton shirt with like little puff sleeves.
Oh my god, yes, the puff sleeves to make sure you know it's for a woman.
Yeah. And I had a long straight blonde wig with bangs. And my name,
I would pay to see a photo of you like that, for the record.
I'll show it to you off the dish. Like I am not and we'll
Wait a minute, oh my god, you have photographic proof?
Of course I do. Of course I do. From my Canon digital camera, you know? With the little wrist strap. Yeah, one of those.
And the little thing you pull out, what is it called? Little card. Memory card.
Yeah, the SD card, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like it was like shiny metallic blue, you know.
We'll have to like do a throwback dish day where we bring old photos of us. I think that would be funny.
Yeah, totally. But anyway, so I went over to his house and I said, "Hey, would you go out with me to Pyramid, which was the bar in Columbus where all the trans women would meet up, and it doesn't exist anymore, unfortunately."
Where was it?
It was on like near 4th and Spring.
Okay.
Around that area. And he was like, "Do you want to borrow?" What did he say? "Do you want to borrow?" Some of my shoes. That's what it was. And he opened his closet, and there was just a whole array of women's clothes, wigs, shoes, you name it. And I was just like, how did I not know this about you? And
wait, like a guy in your residence hall?
No. This was the person I was seeing that I met on Craigslist.
Oh my god, what?
Yeah, and this was after all the times he was like, "Do you want to go to a bathhouse? Do you want to try a glory hole?" Like, he asked if I wanted to do some serious stuff, which I was like, "No, thank you." Like, I was such a goody two-shoes, I was like, "No, I don't want to do that," you know? Like, that's too much, girl. I've never been that girl, I'm never gonna be that girl. But he opened up his closet, and he had all this stuff, and he was like, "Do you want to borrow some shoes?" And I was like, and they were my size, right? Like, and he said something to me like, let's call her Denise. He said, "Oh, Denise doesn't go out anymore." Talking about his alternate persona. And he was a man of few words, so like I wanted to ask him more about that, and he was just like, no. You know what I mean? Like, he just...
Well, and like, you're you. Like, you can't, like, you're 19, 20. Like, what do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So I borrowed some square toe, knee-length black leather boots, which totally completed the look, by the way.
Oh my god! Did they flare low rise so they went over the boot?
Oh, no. The boots, I had on like a black pencil skirt. Yeah.
Hot for teacher.
Yeah. I had a black pencil skirt on with a pinstripe vest and like a white button-down shirt with a cherry pin. And I went and sang karaoke, and it was delightful. But the thing that was great was he was sort of in the background, and he just allowed me to be in the space and like meet other people. And this group of women just like scooped me right up, and they were like, "Is this your first time out?" Like, which was very like, it was very sweet at the time, but I was like, of course you could tell it was my first time out. And they were like,
because you're just like,
yeah, and they were like, "Do you want to come to the women's restroom with us?" And it was the most magical moment. Like, I'd never been with a group of people in a public women's restroom before. It was wonderful.
Oh my god.
Yeah. But this is about bad behavior, so let me just say that the bad behavior was all on me in this whole situation, except for the nonsense with the drink. That was bad.
I also think if you're going to invite someone over to swim, let's just get into the dish. Really deep dish.
Yeah.
It's 7:32.
The witching hour.
If your kink is watching me swim, and you invite me over to swim together, I would like a heads up that this is your kink.
You know what? It was difficult. If I asked him like what's your kink, he would send me a spreadsheet. You know, like there really was just no keeping tabs on what might possibly come up that would be sexualized, because I think it was also very transactional. Like this was a person who was looking for
Yeah.
a younger male identified person just for the fact that they were younger, you know?
Yeah.
And at that time in my life, I was okay with that because my self-esteem was low enough that I was just like, if that feels like I can do that, you know? If your price of admission is just me being the age that I am, it doesn't feel complicated.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't require that I like myself or have self-respect or all that. Like that stuff came later, you know?
Right. It was just about, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's why I think we need to check in on young people. I remember we really do. I've had some conversations before, like in my early mid-20s, when I would hear younger people, like 2019, would talk about situations that sounded very similar to what I was doing, like meeting older men on the internet. And
yeah,
you can't mother them too much because then they'll just shut down. But you just kind of want to be like, do you know who this person is?
know.
Do you have a plan to get home? You know what I mean? You just want to check in.
It's tough, you know, because I think like we spend so much time defending our existence that we can't actually have real conversations about some of the challenges our community faces. Like literally almost every single one of my intimate partners who identifies as queer or trans was taken advantage of under the age of consent by an older queer identified person. And that sucks, and we can't talk about it because what happens is really there's just no one fucking around for this person who's younger, and they seek out community, and that community is all older people. And we have this system, and again, it's not grooming and it's not indoctrination, and that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is when you isolate queer folks, and this legislation and these movements are isolating queer folks, they don't have peers to turn to because their peers are dead.
Yeah.
Their peers are dead or not out.
Mm-hmm.
Woo! Anyways.
Let the truth be told.
I've had so many ex-girlfriends who are like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. Oh, yeah, my music teacher. Oh, yeah, my college professor. I'm like, what were you? And they're like, oh, I was in high school taking a college class. I was 16.
Yeah.
And it's like, how old was she? And it's like, well, she was like 22. And I'm like, okay, that's a fucking problem.
Yeah.
But again, it's like when you isolate queer kids and queer young adults, this is what happens.
Yeah. Well, you go looking for intimacy. Like we need intimacy as people, right? And then you're looking for intimacy. You have a lack of sort of mentorship or like role models in your life. And often those two things kind of get conflated.
Yeah.
And you really are looking for someone to look up to and trust and kind of rely on. And you don't expect bad behavior, let's just call it generally, tying us back to the topic. You don't expect bad behavior, it just happens all of a sudden.
Right.
And also, when you're young, you don't have the experience to know when a boundary has been crossed.
I was going to say, you don't even know what bad behavior is, and you're so desperate for intimacy because of the isolation. I don't know if you're playing Dish Bingo, but here's Loaf.
Oh, Loaf. That is a Dish Bingo square right there. Oh, Penny! Those eyes. Oh my god, those plaintive eyes. She just, you know what? She just gets to me.
She's so mad. She hates covered dish.
For those of you that don't
know. Girl,
I
need to make another cocktail. I am plumb out. But fortunately, I brought everything with me.
Oh, I was going to say, let's take a break. And then I was like, going to cut away to the word from our sponsors that we don't have.
So I'm just adding a little bit of ice.
Oh, girl.
This is the cooking part of the deep dish.
Yes, please. Mother man.
I'm going to squeeze a little lemon. In this house, we believe in fresh citrus and fresh garlic. And we do not compromise.
No. When life gives you lemons, squeeze them.
And are you a fruit in the cocktail or on the napkin?
I like to leave it in. I like a little extra.
So I was dating this woman as I make my cocktail, and she hated what she called table fruit. And let me tell you about table fruit, girl.
Please do. Table fruit. What is that?
So let me take you all the way back to Surly Girl Saloon in the Short North. R.I.P.
Classic.
They had an open mic comedy night every Wednesday, and it was the place to be for stand-up comedy. I met all of my friends there. Literally, like, the best times of my life were at that bar Wednesday nights. And every drink they had, including the 6-shooter, which was like their version of a Long Island iced tea, and they had it on sale, so we could afford it, everything came with fruit. And my partner at the time was like, that's fucking disgusting. I used to be a bartender. You know how many people have touched that fruit, blah, 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 blah. Anyways, she cheated on me and ended up marrying a woman she cheated on me with. So my friends all took me out for a boozy brunch at Surly Girl. And I took all the table fruit, rubbed it on the table, and put it in my drink.
Oh my God.
She wasn't there. Like, it was just like, what the fuck?
Right. You were like, I'm free. I can finally eat all of the table fruit.
I was just like, I rubbed it and ate.
Oh my gosh. I thought you were going to say like fruit in a bowl that is just decorative on a table, because I'm not for that type of table fruit.
No. On the table.
Okay. Is there more
like
to
on
the, is there more to the cocktail recipe, or is it complete now?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. I just made it. It was Kettle One and Pellegrino.
Okay. Do that classic influencer thing where you like hold up the product and like block your face with your hand so it focuses. Yeah, there you go.
Is that a thing? I've never done that.
Well, that's not how you do it, but yes, that's the thing. Yes. It's like this. It's like today we're going in with a MAC number 3 brush. Yeah, exactly. There you go. You don't spread your fingers out. There you go. Yeah, there you go. You got it.
I don't think it's working for me.
Give us the full Get Ready With Me fantasy. Hi guys, welcome back to our Get Ready With Me Let's Play ASMR Mukbang Fantasy. We want to address a couple things that have come up in the comment section on this channel. Anyway, that's it. That's the end.
I don't watch any makeup tutorials. Can you tell?
Oh.
This is the look I'm calling Rachel Weisz from The Mummy.
Yes. And I guess that would make me The Rock.
Girl, you are my Rock.
The Rock. Mm-hmm.
Yo!
Yeah. So, girl, bad behavior.
We love a Scorpion King reference. So topical.
Yeah. Listen, we've done Cole Porter. We've done gay bars that have closed in Columbus. We've done The Mummy. Like, what? Who else can
What else do you want?
Who else can we drag into this?
Subscribe to our YouTube channel. We can't do anything else.
Yeah. Also, by the way, do subscribe to our YouTube channel so we can get that custom URL. So bad behavior. You don't see.
Are you ready?
We don't know how to deal with it when it comes up. What are we supposed to do? Just batten down the hatches? Build a storm shelter?
Girl, I think what you can do is I think you can find the best of a situation. So I will give the best example of this. The reason for the season. The story that has been dubbed the Golden Clitoris.
Finally! Why is nobody talking about the Golden Clitoris?
This was the name. First of all, Eileen wanted to name the episode the Golden Clitoris.
I did.
We had to have a whole conversation about. So anyway.
We had to meet with marketing.
And they rejected it.
That's a bingo square, by the way. Eileen refers to marketing.
Oh, by the way, we want to do a bingo card. So feel free to comment if there's things you think should go on the cover dish bingo card.
Yes.
Brooke in Hoops is a good one.
Manhattan. Eileen's drinking Manhattan.
Manhattan is a good one.
I would put that we cooked, but that happens so infrequently now that like it's sort of a super secret bingo square.
Yeah, it can't be a popular square. It can't be the center square. What could be the center square? What's like the guarantee? I play with my hair.
Okay, well, yeah, I mean that would be. Oh gosh, what do we do every episode? Oh, we always start with girl. We do that.
We do that.
Yeah.
Maybe that's it.
How you doing, girl? Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just girl.
It's just girl. Yeah, instead of free space, it's just girl in all caps.
Oh my god, I love that.
Yeah, that's great.
Anyways, we're brainstorming on merch instead of actually focusing on the story. But anyways,
yeah, we're just
due to an
workshopping this now.
ill-fated cross-global love affair.
Oh,
sometimes
I want to add one additional detail to this, which is this is someone who just suddenly came back in to our lives, both of us,
collectively,
after like what 8-9 years. So as if this is like a key feature of the story. This is not a cold call. This is someone whomst we knew from like a past life.
Whomst.
Yeah. Sorry, continue.
So here's the problem. With cross-country, cross-country, like other countries, not across this country, love affairs, sometimes things end and then the gift arrives because it's supply chain issues.
Yeah, it's stuck in a container ship in the Suez.
So, we had ended things, and I'm not gonna lie, it was a pretty volatile ending. And then a gift showed up. A gift that had been ordered before we ended things.
Mm-hmm.
A gold-plated clitoris necklace that was really gorgeous. And if you've never seen the full like clitoris, it's really a beautiful organ. And it was just
I want to pause one more time and just say that the setting that I was there when the package arrived and we weren't living together anymore. So it was you and another former roommate and me.
Shouts Maria.
Yeah,
wherever you are.
Maria was there. And the package arrived and you were like, what is this? And we let's just open it. Let's open it together. And we were not prepared for the golden commemorative clitoris necklace.
Gorgeous. Beautiful.
Yeah. Just this little 18-karat penguin on a very stylish chain.
So, what do you do?
Get in the chat, because I don't fucking know.
Also, it's not from like fucking Macy's, right? An artist made it. It's like 5 of 500, and it came with a whole thing about the energy of the clitoris and what the clitoris means, and it was just a lot about the clitoris. So are there any comments? I need to check our YouTube.
No, not yet. It's just hopefully Gwen is still watching, but yeah, it's just Gwen saying we look so gorgeous this evening. That's the only comment you need.
All right, well, I don't know what you would have done, dear readers, but I decided in this moment of, frankly, there was bad behavior on all sides in that moment, but I decided, again, you can only control the controllables, and I decided that this person should not be out money with a comma in it.
Yeah.
On someone that they were no longer with. So I go to the website of the artist and they don't do returns.
Of course they don't.
And you, me, and Maria are sitting at my kitchen table with the clitoris necklace in the middle of the table, all being like,
we're strategizing. We're now fully we're full on strategizing. Like we are pros and cons. We are like weighing alternatives. It was a whole thing.
So ultimately, I write a letter to the artist to return the necklace, explaining that I cannot in good conscience keep this, and this is why, and I know you don't do returns or refunds, but this is why I think you should make an exception. And she did.
Thanks for being a real one.
And that's the power of a nicely worded letter.
Power of
and
pen.
Quiche.
And quiche, yeah. We really did appeal to her love of quiche.
Yeah. Well, everybody does.
Wow. Well, you know, I'm really glad that was good behavior.
It was, but you know, it was a moment of where I could have been bad. It would look so nice right here.
Yeah. But you know, ultimately it's not just that you don't want that on your conscience, but you also don't want to give that ammunition to the person after the breakup.
100%. We are here at the dish. We think about optics.
Yeah. We think about a clean break. That's like my guiding principle.
Is it?
Yeah, let's have a clean break so that we don't have to worry about this coming up unexpectedly later.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a good move. Girl, any stories of bad behavior you want to share?
I mean, I think I've already been pretty vulnerable, but let's go deeper, shall we? I
Like as deep as the clitoris goes, which is very deep.
Yeah, this next one is a glimpse into the abyss that stares back. Um, I met someone on a dating app, and you know we were like good friends on Snapchat for a number of years, and then I found out that they had lied to me about their identity for 4 years, so that was fun.
Yeah, I think you can say bad.
I would call that bad behavior. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's bad behavior, and you don't have to rise above it.
No, and
Years.
and actually I won't.
And you surely will.
No, here's the difference though. Like I was under the assumption that this person was single, and I told him that I was in an open relationship. So like on the one side we're leading with honesty, and on the other side we're just like, yeah, I'm not seeing anyone. While they were actually married, and it was not okay, you know? So it's just like one of those things where I know. So it's just one of those things where you just
I love it's rolling this out like a slip and slide full of snakes.
Yeah.
It's like rolling out and it's just full of snakes.
It gets worse and worse, right? Because, okay, so we're just, it makes sense at first. Like, you just meet on Snapchat because when you meet someone on the internet, you're like, oh, anonymity. We value anonymity.
Right, that's the whole point.
Yeah. So, but then you get to know somebody, and you're like, okay, maybe we can just become friends at this point. Because that's how I operate. I like to meet someone, have an emotional connection, become friends, and then it's like truly friends with benefits, but that doesn't sound, it doesn't sound like serious enough for me, because I really do consider someone to be a friend in terms of I want to know that you're okay. I care about what you like to do. You know, I'm concerned with your well-being, generally speaking, you know? And then also, would you like to do things? Would you like to be intimate with each other? You know, like those two things are totally, they're not contradictions for me. So I was like, oh, let's be friends. Can I have your contact information? And it just never happened. And there was always some excuse, some reason why that couldn't happen. It was always like, they were coming over to my place, but it was never okay for me to go over to their place. You know? And at first it was like, oh, I live with my sister. She's really conservative. And then they moved into a place where they were just by themselves. And then it was like, oh, yeah, well, I have this roommate now that I'm helping out on a temporary basis because she just got out of a bad relationship. And like, oh, you know, I don't know if you can come over because her partner might be over. And I was like, why aren't you allowed to have people over? It just, nothing made sense, you know? And then...
But you don't want to think they're lying. That's the thing.
No, you don't. I didn't even consider it. I didn't even consider the possibility because there were no... My internal sense that something was amiss never went off.
Yeah.
So it's just, I like, and I think, oh, I'm a good judge of character. Like, I've been through enough experiences that I would recognize when someone's being dishonest. You just think that about yourself after a certain amount of time, I guess. So, girl, this is the best part of this whole situation. I made some Christmas cookies. And I decided that I was the most innocuous thing in the world. I just made some, like, frosted sugar cookie cutouts. And I put them in a little tin with, you know, a little Santa Claus tin. And I drove it down to his house. And I knew that he was at work, so I was just going to drop it on the front porch and just drive, you know, go about my business. And my partner's with me too in the car because we were going to do other things that day. So my partner's,
which is amazing.
Yeah.
I just want to like say that as a sidebar. Like,
my partner's with me. We made the cookies together. We put the cookies in the tin. Drive over. I'm going to drop them off. Nice Christmas surprise, right?
Hashtag goals.
And then I walk up to the front door, and I start to lean in to put the cookies on the front porch, and the door opens. And there's a woman there, and she says, "Hi, can I help you?" I said, "Oh, yeah," because I think this is his roommate, right?
Right, because
So,
you've been to the house once.
Yes, I had been to the house once before.
Right.
Just, and I looked around and I was like, oh, these decorations look kind of queer and femme, but, like, that's... Maybe he just has a, like, unexpected sense of decor. That is not what was going on. So, I was like, yeah, I'm just dropping off these cookies for so-and-so, because I know he's at work. And she says, oh, no one lives here by that name. And I was like, what? And my gears are immediately starting to turn, because I'm now thinking, like, okay, this person is in a monogamous relationship. She doesn't know anything about me. I don't want to make the situation worse for her, right?
100%.
So now I'm in damage control mode. I'm like, let's wrap it up, Mary. Let's get back in the car. I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. Let me just take my little cookies. I must have the wrong address. So I go back to the car, and I get in, and my partner's looking at me and the tin of cookies, and like, why do you still have the cookies? And I was like, honestly, I don't know.
Right. Right.
I don't even know what just happened. And then there was a whole thing about, oh yeah, the weirdest thing just happened. I like sent a message like, the weird thing just happened. I tried to drop off cookies, and someone came to the door and said that no one by your name lives there. What happened? And importantly, I did get the name, by the way. Like, oh, me and my husband so and so live here. And I was like, file that one away. So I said, what's going on here? Like, I'm having a strong sense here that something is not what you've told me to be the case. And he said, oh, no, that's not true. Like, this is all a misunderstanding. My ex is also a tall, nerdy woman with purple hair. Like, just the most, the mental gymnastics to try to make this true. You know what I mean? And
my God.
And at the time, I didn't want it to be true that he had lied to me all this time. So I was just kind of like, okay, all right, that sounds plausible. I have no way of denying that, so I guess we're just gonna believe you for a few more months. Like, just insane. And it took
and so many opportunities for him to tell you.
I think so. At any point, he could have dropped the facade and been like, hey, this is, I don't know how I let it go on this long. Like, there's no excuse for this, but, like, I actually have been lying to you. I'm still married. And I was ashamed about it or whatever. Like, just tell me, It'll still hurt, but it's better than just continuing to double down on the lie. So it took us going back, honestly, it took us going out 8 months later. And we went to a bar, and we had a great time. And he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna go to the restroom," and he left his wallet on the bar. And I looked at his driver's license. And then he came back from the bathroom.
And it was the name.
It was the name that It was the name that the woman had told me, and a different last name. Yeah. So he came back to the bar, and I was like, "We have to talk about your name," because I'm very intense like that. I was just like, I don't want to, once there's no doubt left, I'm like, okay, let's get into it. So, yeah, we had an awkward conversation, and then there was no admission. There was never any admission of, like, wrongdoing or lying or whatever. And so things just sort of, like, over the next couple weeks of awkward, hi, how are you kind of thing, it just naturally ran its course. And I held out this kind of, like, hope for a while that we would get together and I would be able to get some kind of closure. But it's just not worth it. It's just not worth it at this point.
You have to provide your own closure.
Yeah.
Which sucks.
Yeah. And sometimes time and space is what you need. Like, everyone processes a little bit differently. For me, what I think I learned about myself is, like, I'm good. You know,
Yeah.
I took this sort of as an opportunity to deepen the relationship with myself.
Yeah.
And just remind me, like, there's nothing wrong with you. Same thing with the guy you met on Craigslist who asked me if the drink tasted funny. Like,
Honestly, but like, he came into your life for a reason, and we all know that.
maybe I must have some immunity to, like, Rohypnol or something. I don't know what was in that drink, but it still spooks me a little bit to this day. I was like, what situation did I avoid, you know?
But you know what? I'm sure, honestly, like, I'm not riding for this man, but like, it could have just been expired.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. He was just like, does that milk taste funny? Because it expired in December, you know?
And it's full of rupees.
Oh. So
Well, you know,
listen, don't let your past experiences stop you from loving yourself. Like,
right.
yeah.
And like, even like, don't let someone else's bad behavior dictate you.
Yeah.
And like, you know, we've talked a lot about forgiveness, you know, and grace on this little video cast. Like, I think grace is one of those words from the Catholic Church I've taken back.
Mm-hmm.
And I love it. And I'm like, are you giving yourself grace? Are you giving yourself grace and space and time and anger and whatever you need?
Mm-hmm.
Because you deserve it. I mean, you deserve all of it. You deserve it all.
Yeah. Thank you, girl.
You know?
I feel like I have to give myself permission to express feelings.
Mm.
Do you have a voice inside your head that says you shouldn't be feeling that?
Why do you think I'm drinking vodka, girl? We kill her. We just kill that boy.
Yeah. It's rough. It's rough. It's like there are acceptable feelings and there are unacceptable feelings. And I think that, Brooke, I think that's something you and I share from our upbringing. I think that's one of the ways we relate to each other.
I was talking to one of my best friends growing up, and we had very different experiences in the Catholic Church. Ben, you'll meet him.
Mm-hmm.
And we were talking, and he's like,
"Why?" The other friend you sing with.
Yo. And we were talking, and I was like, we both were raised Catholic, but honestly, like, his church was like the welcoming church, and mine was like fire and brimstone, HIV is modern leprosy.
Yeah.
And like, it's just like everything is up to interpretation. Like, everything, you know what I mean? Like, two queer people who are raised Catholic have completely different experiences and completely different baggage, right? Like, it's all kind of in how you unpack. And like we were talking about before, I think, you know, in our emotions and the emotions we allow ourselves to have, we're like, well, I'm so far along on this. I'm so mature. I shouldn't have these feelings.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's not how feelings work. It's not a path in a wood. It's a swimming pool. You don't know what's going to pass by you. Mm. You don't know what floaty is just going to be hanging out there for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, you don't, or 20 years. Yeah. You just don't know.
You don't know what chicken bone is stuck in the filter. And then when it finally works its way out, like, the jets start working again. I mean, for me, it's more of a jacuzzi. Like,
that's totally fair.
My feelings are swinging in a jacuzzi, and sometimes the jets turn on and I go, ooh. This is one thing we don't share, is a love of jacuzzis. I'm trying to get you to stay in a cabin in Hocking Hills with me. And
hold on. I love jacuzzis. Let it be on the record. Brooke loves a jacuzzi. Not in Hocking Hills. Not in Hocking Hills. Those E. coli ridden, Sisyphus-filled, syphilis, not Sisyphus.
Sisyphus-filled. What did the Hocking Hills ever do to you, Brooke?
Gave me a UTI in a hot tub.
They're all gonna do that. They're all gonna do that. They're all UTI machines. I don't know what to tell you.
You're like, I don't make the rule.
I'm gonna especially when you least expect it, I'm gonna surprise you with a jacuzzi filled with cranberry juice.
Honestly, I don't know if we have a bachelorette plan, but that's what I want.
Yeah, done. I'm gonna call the committee. I'm calling the planning committee right after this.
Oh my God, girl. Can you believe Can you believe it's after 8 p.m.?
No, I actually can't. I was like, what, has this been 15 minutes? Like, I lose all track of time. I love it.
Isn't that a beautiful thing?
It's a beautiful thing. You make me feel so young.
You make me feel like spring is wrong.
Yeah. I love singing that like Henry Kissinger.
Yes. Oh, you are very good. You have a very good Henry Kissinger.
You make me feel so young, you know. You're just talking out of the side of his mouth.
Yeah. It's also very Madeline Kahn from Blazing Saddles.
Yes.
Dating anything else.
Totally. I'm tired. Tired of being
playing.
I've never seen a burlesque performer, or anyone for that matter, do a good Lily Von Shtupp number.
Wait, burlesque performers do Lily Von Shtupp?
Of course, I mean they should. They should know your history.
Who has? Do we know anyone?
Oh, I'm not gonna put them on blast after I've just said they've all been horrible. But yes, I have seen some Lily Von Shtupp numbers, and I was left underwhelmed.
Oh my god, I love that. I want you to do that for my birthday.
I think I might be just old enough now that I can pull it off.
No, you gotta drop rose feet and stuff. Like you gotta lean in.
Yeah.
To the, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you have to put on a wig that has like dramatic, exaggerated like gray streaks in it.
And you need like a walker and a wheelchair,
yeah,
like full nursing room scene.
An oxygen tank. A CPAP machine. One of those
beds that goes up and down.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
That's the first reveal.
Like, oh, I'm tired.
That's the first reveal. You see a bed that's tipped back, and then you see a hand with a remote control extend, and it just slowly it just slowly tilts forward so the audience can see them, and you're just in like Lily St. Cyr lingerie, like an old garter belt and fishnets and a boa, and you're just like, I'm tired.
And the sheer robe with the ostrich feather lining, trim.
Oh, and you have a sexy nurse with like the bedside table that has a lot of props. If you don't know, I bring a whole lot.
Fucking props.
I bring a whole lot of set pieces to a number, but you've got like a.
Eileen has always purchased her cars based on her burlesque performances, so they've always had like massive trunks.
Yeah, I can't do with at least a hatchback.
Oh my god, you're like, wait, I have to get my chairs, and I'm like, chairs? I thought it was just one number, and you're like, yes, it is.
Yeah, and also,
and your point,
and don't forget the credenza. You know.
You do love it.
So, but you need to have a nurse who's taking away like the bedside table with the last meal on it, and it's just like a bowl of fruit cocktail. Like we need some get well soon cards with some flowers. Like we need the whole
wilted flowers.
Yeah,
wilted. You know,
deflated helium balloons.
Get well flowers, and they don't think how much they all just fucking die.
Yeah, shiny foil balloons that are half deflated. It's a full moment.
I feel like this needs to be like a video because it would be so awesome, but also really annoying to constantly recreate.
Yes. Oh, girl, I could talk to you forever.
Penny is tired. Look at that fat girl.
Oh, no. I love her little face. She's like, "Are you talking about me?" She knows.
Ew.
She's like both excited and lazy at the same time, which honestly relatable.
Yeah, she's very relatable. She's been awake for 2 hours today. And she's like, I am beat.
Yeah. She's got a lot going on. Like,
she does have a lot going on. She's working on her 3rd book. So that's exciting.
Oh,
Memoirs of a Loaf.
Tell her to not let the editors give her too hard of a time.
Yeah, she likes them. So.
I need to speak with my authentic voice, you guys.
Yeah, all the editors are chihuahuas, so I find them.
I think Penny voice is absolutely a bingo square. Girl, I love you. And I don't know what we're talking about next week, but we're going to do the time-honored tradition of I'll call you Monday night to talk about what we're going to talk about on Tuesday.
If you have something you want us to talk about, dear readers, please comment, message us on Instagram. We love you. We love you. We love you. Thank you for watching our first deep dish of the year. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Instagram and Facebook. We can't wait for an amazing 2023 on Les Dish.
That's right, and we'll be back next week. Make safe choices, kids. Bye.